Welcome to another episode of Rewind and Press Forward. If you are in your season 2.0 and you're starting over, this is a place for inspiration, advice, and you may learn a little something. Today we have with us Miss Renda Pal. Mm-hmm. She is the owner of Russ Powell Nutrition and Diabetic Care.
Yes.
So this is something that's really, really good for me because I am a type 2 diabetic, been that way for 30 years. I was told it was from inherited from our father because me and my brother and we all have type 2 diabetes. So we've been kind of dealing with it. Give us a little bit of your background on this subject.
So what makes me credentialed to speak to you all about?
What makes you qualify?
What makes me qualify about this matter about, generational health and type 2 diabetes and all that. So I am a registered and licensed dietitian. So that means that I have gone through advanced training. You have to have at minimum a bachelor's degree to have this credential, but now you have to have at least a master's degree to be able to practice. And so I have that credential, but also too, that makes me qualified to speak on diabetes. I'm also a board certified diabetes care and education specialist. So what that looks like is that I understand how this disease develops, what makes certain people at risk, as well as different treatment interventions when it comes to lifestyle, medication, as well as helping people put type 2 diabetes into remission, as well as reverse prediabetes. And so that's what I do. So I've been in practice now for 14 years, and I have had my own private practice in Frisco, Texas for 5 years. I made 5 years in July this year.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, so that's what makes me qualify.
All right, well, let me ask you something. So I found out when I was in my 20s, but like for people now that are a little older, later, does age really matter when it comes to, especially type 2 diabetes? It doesn't pick a certain age? It doesn't happen? Is it just based on, what is it based on?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because traditionally, whenever we start screening for type 2 diabetes, we would usually start in your 40s. Is typically when we will see the people at risk for type 2 diabetes because at that time your hormones are changing, both male and female. You've gone through life, you have stressors and different things. You're probably well into your career, so you may be, eating out a little bit more, the weight's coming on. So we will usually screen at the age of 40. But now it is expected there's going to be a 700% increase in type 2 diabetes in those under the age of 21 years old.
Man.
That's what is projected to go towards if we don't make some significant changes. So right now we're actually screening for those who have like the generational or genetic predisposition for type 2 diabetes. We're actually starting like at 12.
Wow. 12
years old is where we're now starting to screen because we're seeing 10-year-olds on cholesterol medications. We're seeing 10-year-olds on blood pressure medications, which are all metabolic risk factors for them to develop type 2 diabetes. So we're screening much, much earlier compared to 20, 30 years ago when we could consider type 2 diabetes as a old person's condition.
Well, this may be a common sense answer that you're about to give me, but 10 and 12 years old,
yes.
What is the cause of this at such an early age? Is that from genetics that they're inheriting, or is what's on the plate, or too many looking at the iPad all day and not getting outside and playing?
You're hitting all of it. It's definitely multifactorial for sure. So obviously with our genetics, we can't change that, right? Like we're born what we're born with, but our lifestyle as well as environmental factors can definitely turn on those genes. It's like the environment, your genes is the gun, but the lifestyle and environment is the trigger, right? And so you can start flipping switches and start turning on expressions of these diseases. So yes, it is a lot to deal with our food, how our food is made, what it's made of.
Yeah, food is not that good these days.
It tastes completely different, and it's also mass production, right? So, I mean, you look at, just your chicken. You're like, oh my God, what's that chicken lifting weights? Like, we haven't.
Steroid, because I've seen a thing on Netflix where it went from an egg to on the plate in like a month.
Facts.
Like not even playing, like literally.
Yeah.
Popped out egg, somebody was frying it up, and it wasn't even 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. So the
That's
mass production,
crazy.
and that's not natural, right?
No.
And so the things that they're doing to produce our food we're eating it, and so it's causing some issues. I mean, you can look at, girls, they're going through puberty a lot younger, you know, and so that also a factor too. But also too, just how the modern world is evolving. We don't see many kids running up and down the streets anymore.
No, not anymore.
So they're missing out on that activity. They're in the first place. Insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes sets is in our muscles. That's the very first place it sets in. So if your child is not getting at minimum an hour of physical activity, they're sitting on that iPad, sitting on that computer, twiddling on their cell phone all day, those muscles are cold. They're not conditioned. They can't metabolize the food that they're eating. So they're setting themselves up for insulin resistance.
Now, how does that relate to an older person? Exact same thing?
Exact same thing, because as we get older, what do we lose? Muscle mass.
Muscle mass, that goes first.
We lose muscle mass,
but we got pills for that. We got that dude that says, hey, she'll like it too. Whatever the pills on them, whatever pills, and which I just don't think a pill really. No, absolutely. You cannot out medicate lifestyle. I don't care how advanced we're getting with, pharmaceuticals or technology. When it comes down to it, we have to do the work, right? Our bodies are designed to move. So we're seeing that, when it comes to both young and old, that we are more sedentary. Those muscles are not being utilized by any means. But also stress. I have a lot of individuals who I coach. They can eat well, exercise, but if their sleep patterns are off, their stress levels are high, it doesn't make a difference. Because when a stressed out body, mental or physical, you don't even metabolize your food the same way. Your body is trying to redirect the energy towards your arms and your legs to get you ready to fight or flight, not to digestive tract, not to metabolism. So if you're in a chronic state of stress or a chronic state of, sleep deprivation, you're not even utilizing the food for fuel. All right, so let's expand on that, because now you're talking about me, to a degree. Okay. The old me, I do try to be in bed by 10 o'clock now.
Okay.
I'm really working on, because I get up no matter what. The alarm goes off at 6:30. Yeah. So no matter what, you got to get up, because I got to get moving.
Right.
But the go to bed thing, the death scrolling, looking at if I'm trying to finish a project, do whatever. And I've been trying to make this thing be in bed by 10. And so I've gotten obsessed with my iWatch, because it measures your sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get that 7.5, 8 hours of sleep every night. And it's started to work. But a lot of people nowadays don't have time to sleep, because they're so busy grinding. If somebody is starting over and they're working a part-time job or their part-time hustle, they work their 9 to 5, and then social media and the world says sleep when you're dead.
Right, the hustle culture.
Yes, yeah. So that's really, really opposite of what you're saying the body needs in order to be healthy.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of a catch-22. If you want to succeed, don't sleep.
Right.
But if you don't sleep, you may die. I mean, what do you do?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to look at it. The thing is, it's like, you can put all of your, attention and energy into grinding, getting your, your money and, trying to build this empire or whatever. But it's like building a foundation, a house on sand. Like your house is going to crumble. One strong wind or one strong, life event, whatever that comes through, your foundation, your house is going to crumble, because it was built on sand versus built on concrete, right? And that concrete is what you put into yourself, sleeping, eating, exercising, all those things there. Not saying that you have to be so legalistic, like it's 10 o'clock, I gotta, go to bed. But studies have shown that if you go 6 nights getting 6 hours or less of sleep, you're increasing your risk for heart attack, you're increasing your risk for type 2 diabetes, you increase your risk of mental illness, all the things. Just 6 nights of getting 6 hours or less of sleep, just increasing.
Now, can it be collective? Can I get a nap in there? Does a nap help, or does it have to be... Can I get 4 hours at night and I get 2 hours in the afternoon?
It don't work that way. It don't work that way.
I had to ask. I guarantee you somebody else to start that way. If I get a nap, in the early day, I just add my 4 to this 2, and it's collective. So no, that's not it.
It's not it. That is not how the body works. Because whenever you're going into getting that deep sleep, that uninterrupted sleep, that's where your body actually starts healing itself. That's where you get that recovery, that rebuilding and repairing. That's when your liver is trying to package things up that you've eaten throughout the day. Yeah, and that's when you burn the most calories. I've seen people
when you sleep?
Yes, you burn like 600 calories or more in your sleep. if you're sleeping the way you should. But when people miss out on that sleep, they're like, man, why do I have this stubborn belly fat? You know, I'm working out, I'm eating right, but I just can't lose this stomach fat.
Man, we about to end this episode now, and I'm going to bed. If that's the case, if that's all I need to do is go to bed.
Go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
You know how many times the nutrition prescription has been go to bed?
I've never heard that. Like, literally, you hear it in general, but like, look, if you want to get right, because they said, from weightlifting all these years and all that, of course, you have to sleep to let the muscles recover, do whatever. But I didn't know that you burn calories sleeping like that.
Oh, my God, yes. Yes, it is the best thing.
What about combining that with fasting? Mm-hmm. Now, is fasting good or bad when you're looking? Now, I think overall it's probably good, but is there anything different with intermittent fasting when you're diabetic, or does that help or hurt you?
Very good question. But when you take things into consideration, whenever you're sleeping, you're fasting, right?
That's why they call it breakfast.
Exactly, breaking the fast,
right?
100%. So obviously, it is natural for us to go through a period of fasting. That's why we need to sleep, right? So that way your body can actually have a metabolic resiliency, so that way you can break down your food and your blood sugars won't stay high when you wake up, that sort of thing there. But when it comes to intermittent fasting, there are certain populations that certainly can benefit from it. Let's say someone that, is like morbidly obese, or their metabolism is just having a hard time processing foods. They're having some gut issues, they're bloated, that sort of thing there. So it's really case by case when it comes to that. And also too, sometimes with those with type 2 diabetes, intermittent fasting can actually spike their cortisol and can make their blood sugars worse.
Really?
So yes. And I've had so many clients come to me. They're like, I'm fasting. I'm not sure why my numbers are high. I'm like, your body is just probably stressed out, from going that long without eating. And plus, whenever you fasting, you may have an 8-hour window to eat. If you're missing out on your eating opportunities in that 8 hours, and you're missing out on nutrient and minerals and things like that, and you're creating a nutrient deficiency, it's not going to work.
It gets confusing. I've been trying to do this weightlifting thing for 20-something years now, off and on. And one thing, you're like, eat 6 small meals a day. Then it's like, no, eat 1 meal a day. Then it's no, don't eat until 2, but you only got till 7. It's just so many different approaches to all of this.
Yeah, that's why I tell people it's prescriptive. You can't just take something that you see on the internet or some type of fitness blog and say, I'm going to do that. You have to really study your metabolism and how you respond to different things. And so I have a gentleman that I'm working with now. He's 56 years old. His body fat percent, he just sent it to me now, is 21%. He is freaking ripped. He's lost 149 pounds. And he was similar. He came to me thinking he had to eat 1,000 so calories to shred. He was working out, weightlifting 6 days a week, counting his macros. I ain't lost nothing.
I'm about to shake my head off my shoulders because I do all of that every day.
Ain't done nothing. But then I'm telling him, no, you need to eat a little bit more. And this is the time you need to start eating when you first wake up. This is the time you need to cut it off. And this is the time you need to have a snack. And he's like, I'm eating so much food. Trust me, he's ripped.
So, at this time that we're recording this, the holidays are about to start.
Yeah.
So how do you help somebody? Because us older people are set in our ways.
Facts.
We're just set in our ways. We talking about, hey, look, man, don't worry about what I do. Do as I say, not as I do. I do that to my children all the time. But now with the holidays coming up, and let's take holidays culturally.
Yeah.
Different cultures eat different types of enriched foods and things like that. How do you take your clients that have different cultural cuisines and help balance it out? Because I know some aren't really good when it comes to blood sugar. Some are great, and other, we got a lot of comfort food. We have a lot of things. So how do you approach the cultural aspect when you're trying to balance somebody's diet when it comes to diabetes?
Well, yeah, that kind of goes to what we touched on in the beginning about generational health, right? So we inherit our eating patterns, we inherit our health beliefs, and also we inherit our genes, right? And so it definitely really comes to surface around the holiday times because, there's certain foods we look forward to.
Yeah.
And so to answer that quickly and go back to the generational health part is that it's a holiday, not a hollow week or a hollow month.
But Mama made them leftovers. I ain't buying nothing else. Y'all better eat that turkey, that ham, and then that 17 pounds of macaroni and 4 cheese what I made in there, because we ain't getting nothing else until this food is gone.
Facts. I totally get it. So that's where we get in trouble, because some of the worst A1Cs that I see and the diagnoses for type 2 diabetes.
Big Mama in them.
Yeah,
Big Mama in them, I know.
It happens between January and March. It's typically when a diagnosis happens. You just came off of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas,
and New Year's. And we all find an excuse to make that one dish that you don't never make no other time of the year.
Absolutely.
During those 4 months.
Making it stretch, right? Also, too, we're inside more because it's cold.
Yeah.
So now we miss opportunity to move around. And so then what do? We cook more food because we're at home, So, but going back to the generational health situation is that if you are, like you said, you got diagnosed when you were 20.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like with our finances, we also inherit our financial literacy and our wealth beliefs or financial beliefs from our family members and things like that. So it's the same concept. So if you are one that knows that type 2 diabetes runs in your family, doesn't mean that you're just predestined to have type 2 diabetes at all. You need to kind of look at the lay of the land and say, okay, my mom was diagnosed when she was this time. What kind of healthy habits does she represent? Was my mom active? Was she one that looked at her food? Was she always stressed out, worried about something? What happened around the time when she got diagnosed? Did someone recently have a health crisis and she had to take care of them and she got stressed out and she got diagnosed? So you kind of have to look at the bigger picture, because just because you're genetically predestined to have something doesn't mean you're going to have it. But if you're kind of following the same steps as your family members, everybody's going to have it because they are following the same pathway. Just like some people believe that, my mom have it, I'm just going to have it, I'm going to eat whatever. Okay, so you're now a victim of your genetics. You don't have to do that. You can definitely slow this stuff down or keep it from ever coming on. So you really need to take a deep dive in what are your health beliefs.
So how do you translate that into language that you pretty much put it simple right now. How do you do that for a family or a client, into a way that even a child can understand it? Because sometimes when you get into big letters and numbers and words, it just kind of glazes over people. Or is it, hey, your mama ate this, look what happened to her. If you eat that, you're going to turn into her. Thank you very much. Next. Or how do you break it down to where it's simple enough that, it does start to sink in? Because, a lot of people, especially from my mom and grandma and them generations, well, not them, I'm going to say more grandma, but sometimes you ever see that where if I don't go to the doctor, ain't nothing wrong. They don't go until something is absolutely not right.
You know what I call that? Denial-beaties. Denial-beaties. That's exactly what I call it. Okay.
So how do you break it down then and let them know in simple terms so that way they know?
Terms. Yeah, if someone's coming to me and they're like, hey, Russ, I have strong type 2 diabetes runs in my family and I feel like I'm going to get it too, but, I don't want, my leg to be cut off because that's why I saw Big Mama happen. I don't want to be at dialysis because that's what happened to my dad or whatever. I simply look at what are the investments you're making day to day to your health that maybe we can change there. Because people think all the time I'm going to tell them don't eat that mac and cheese. Don't eat that, chicken or whatever. That's what they think I'm going to tell them. I'm like, no, let's just look at the things that we can change. So if you're telling me I don't go to sleep, I can't sleep, I have horrible sleep patterns, I'll meet you there and talk about how sleep can help you, reverse type 2 diabetes. Or how, let's say you are one that doesn't meal prep. I just go out to eat. I hate eating. So let's talk about salt and how salt actually depletes of us potassium, which causes our blood pressure to go high, but also keeps us from making insulin. Let's talk about that. So I'm going to meet you where you are and not make you so overwhelmed with all of these scientific studies and all these different things and scare you away. Just these small changes. Let me give you an example. Just by eating within the first hour of waking up a high protein breakfast with some fiber can reduce your blood sugars by 30%. I ain't say nothing about lunch. I ain't have to say anything about dinner. I'm just saying you simply eating when you first get up within the first hour, high protein, high fiber breakfast reduces your blood sugar by 30%.
Can that be a protein shake?
You need to eat your food.
Okay,
you need to eat your food.
I'm asking
You need to
this.
eat your food to turn those hormones on. But just like eating within the first hour and how you compose that meal, 30%. That could be a difference between you being a type 2 and normal. Just the time and how you eat your breakfast.
That one little switch of habit.
And doing it consistently, making those daily deposits, like your bank account, making daily deposits in it over time, you can have wealth. Same thing, you can have good health. Same thing. So that's how I would meet someone. I just try to do a little landscaping of like what change, small change that you can make to get the biggest outcome. I'm not going to confuse you or make you feel bad at all. So, yeah.
You know, because I see a lot of people, I'm skinny. I can't be type 2 diabetic. I know a ton of skinny people that are type 2 diabetic.
There's no size or shape, color that has a certain profile for type 2
No
diabetes.
discretion.
It is equal opportunity. Type 2 diabetes that everybody can get these hands.
Man, and it been taking them too.
Yes.
Giving them, taking them, just feeding hands. Like,
Absolutely.
no joke. But
No.
I think that, is it hard to raise awareness? As in, are people, not raise the awareness because the effort's there, but are people nowadays starting to pay attention? Because I still think with everything on the market, like the Ozempics, the Modernos, the Farxigas, as you can tell, I've taken some stuff. Everything that's ever come out, because when I first got diagnosed, none of that stuff.
No.
It was just metformin.
Yeah, that's it.
Just chalky, nasty ass pill.
It makes you go to the bathroom.
Yes, and that's all they had.
Yeah.
And you know, you had to do whatever, and then out of a sudden, boom, there's like 20 different things that.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I took Ozempic, but it wasn't for weight loss. I didn't lose weight. I lost like 4 pounds, but my A1Cs are super low. Like I'm almost normal. So that's what it was. Matter of fact, my doctor took me off of it, and I'm on this other thing, Mounjaro.
Mm-hmm.
That. So, because the side effects for Ozempic for me were horrible. Horrible. I must not have drank enough water, because now I'm not gonna say it here, just horrible. It didn't work for me great.
Yeah, I definitely think that, I mean, obviously we're in a culture where everything should be instant gratification. We want a pill to fix everything, you know. Yeah, so we have that part of it. But given that, obviously that class of medication is 20 years old, y'all. It's not a new medication. It just wasn't used for all these different things.
It's being used for the stuff that it wasn't created for.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts. So now it's raised its popularity. But I definitely feel like with the millennial generation, you know, like going into perimenopause and different things, I definitely feel like our generation is talking about it more. And we are holding the healthcare system to a different standard, and we're asking more questions, and it's more of a shared decision. Because we have somewhat lost kind of trust in the medical system and the healthcare system to where we want to take things into our own hands. And so I definitely feel like, just from my practice, I am seeing younger people who are being more proactive. So I definitely think the awareness is definitely out there, for sure, and people are more receptive to it because they're seeing that, especially coming off of the pandemic where we saw a lot of things falling through the cracks.
I think really got everybody's attention.
Facts.
When you've seen people and you lost people.
And we lost people.
That you didn't even, I mean, just literally that, if that wasn't a wake-up call of what reality of something could be.
Yeah. And we saw people who had like high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, heart issues. They were like the vulnerable population, right? When it came to the pandemic. So yeah, I definitely think the awareness is out there and people are more receptive to it. And also too, people are wanting to use these medications in a more strategic fashion.
So we were talking earlier off camera, and I said, let me let you break it down here on the show. There's a compound effect with all of this. Explain to me the compound effect.
Yeah, so the compound effect when it comes to your health is like a savings account. So these little micro deposits that you're making over time, like a compound interest account, over time you're gonna, let's say you put $1 in, it's 4%, you're gonna get like $4 back or whatever. So it's the same thing when it comes to our health. So when I was talking about blood sugars, like the timing that you're waking up and the 30%, if you're making a 30% reduction every day and holding that number every day, within like 8 weeks, you can drop your A1C a whole point. So if someone, let's say, is 6.5, right when type 2 diabetes, happens, and they drop it down to 5.5, that's type 2 diabetes remission in 10 weeks, 8 weeks of you doing just waking up in the morning, eating your breakfast within the hour of you waking up and eating a high protein, high fiber breakfast. So those little micro doses, now doesn't require a lot, but it adds up because you're changing your metabolic profile. And so it's one of those things where you just don't have to make a huge change, just make these small changes consistently, and you start seeing the reward of it. So
now you give everybody, you break down meal plans and everything for them based on what they have going on?
Yeah, based off of their culture, based off of their time that they have, because some people don't have time to cook every day.
Right.
So we figure out how to meal plan strategically. Also, if they're traveling and they say, I have to eat out because I'm in the airport, most of the time.
Truck drivers.
Oh, I have quite a few truck drivers.
Things like that. So
we have to get real creative. But no, that's the beauty of working with someone, because you want someone to get you and understand how to translate your health into your lifestyle versus someone telling you to not eat tortillas or brown rice. And that's the big part of your culture. Like, how do I eat?
How do you not do that?
Right. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just give up my whole identity? Like, it's not going to work out. So, yeah. So just those small micro changes and switching things around, that's what I do.
So with the rising cost of healthcare,
yes,
this stuff is getting crazy.
It's ridiculous.
How do you help out with that?
I'm going to say something that one of my clients told me. She says that I'm either going to make an investment in a dietitian or a mortician.
Whoa.
The mortician, that's a one-time end-all be-all. There's no coming back. Making an investment into a dietitian, I'm empowering you to understand nutrition. I'm empowering you to help you understand, where you can use food as medicine and that sort of thing. So diabetes is one of the most expensive diseases. It can outcost some like cancers, right? So how I look at it is that, one, I'm working with you to buy you some time, because time is money, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm helping you understand how to use food and your lifestyle to help repair yourself, so you're not relying on medications. And if you do have to take medications, it's going to be the smallest little dose, that you have to take. And you don't have to take 10, maybe you have to take 2. That's a cost savings there. Also, too, understanding your numbers, because a lot of doctors don't tell you anything until it is profitable. Type 2 diabetes just doesn't happen 1 month. It takes like 15 years for it to happen. And you're going to the doctor every year, they say, oh, you're fine. But that number is increasing every year. My clients, they get reports. Say, give me a copy of that. They're looking at it from year to year. I'm saving you some coins by you doing that.
That makes total sense. I guess, like you said, people, you're not waiting till it's too late. You already know what's going on, whether you're going backwards or going forward. You're constantly.
And the medications, they will just put you on metformin and you're struggling. That medication is not appropriate. Let's try this. Let's start helping that. Let's have that medication help you heal your body so you can get off some of these other things.
And that's one thing I will admit my doc did do. Hey, you don't need this anymore. Let's go this, back it up, keep going, because I think my A1C was a 5. And I was like, but when we started, it was like 7.1. And he was like, yo, now but I still go to the gym every day. Yeah. I still walk. I do everything. Yeah. It's the kitchen is my only Achilles. That's always been that way. The kitchen is like the boardroom table where, things happen. That's the kitchen. That's where life or death can happen in the kitchen. So, but no, that's how I help them save money. Is one, just being proactive, ask the right questions. They're giving different medication options that are cheaper and more effective if they have to. But also, too, how to advocate for, give me 6 months. Because I know that if you stick with me at least 3 months, I'm going to get you off something. So that's how I save them. And you do it naturally. You have 100%. So many different things naturally to do it.
Because I'm talking to people, not lab rats or just reeling off some type of, study.
Well, that's very offsetting too, because you think about a doctor's visit. You're sitting there, it's cold, it's there. I went to the doctor with my mom this morning on an appointment with her, and it's like they didn't even have a TV on the wall. Didn't even have magazines. I'm looking like, this place looks like it's the end of the line. Like, it was creepy. They call you in, they weigh you, they stick the thing in your ear, you go back, and then you sit in the room and you wait. And he goes, click, click, you hear a door open. He goes to the next door, click, click. He comes, hey, how you doing? Reads a chart, barely remembers, you know what I mean? Oh, here you go. Okay, you got this. Good to see you. Somebody stabs you, takes your blood, and you're gone. It's like, it is so really non-interactive.
Yeah.
It's just a routine thing. It's
routine. It's not personal. And that's the thing, whenever you are choosing your provider, it is an intimate relationship. If all they know about you is your first name, last name, and your date of birth, and that's all they know about you, that's probably not a good provider. They really need to take. I miss
my doctor back from where I'm from, because he literally, I think he smacked me on my butt when I came out. Like, this dude has been with me since as long as I can remember. Yeah. I had him. So like when and these come to family functions, like he is a part of the crew. So when we left Omaha and moved here to Dallas, I was like, yeah, it's like trying to find a barber. Right.
I mean, and they need to take in consideration like what's going on with your life. It may not be appropriate to say, I'm going to put you on this $1,500 medication because of whatever. They know that you maybe just had a job change. Your insurance hadn't kicked in yet. Is there a coupon?
Your insurance may not cover it.
Yeah, is there a coupon or something? What can I do? So it's very intimate. They should know you. Should be very personal. It's funny you mentioned about you going to a doctor with your mom. I just left with my mom. And I definitely not take over, but I show my mom how to lead the conversation when it comes to the doctor. Yeah, they are the professional, but you're the expert when it comes to your body.
Correct.
So I always pull over the screen. Let me see those labs, and we're looking at the trends. I want to get in there, and yeah, that's what I do. So, and that's how you should do too.
I'm about to take you to my next doctor's appointment.
And my clients actually take me on the phone with them because sometimes they're intimidated. And I just speak for them.
I will give my doc credit though. My new doctor, he wears J's. Like he walks in, his whole staff, he says, "What's up, B? What's happening, doc?" Like, and he breaks it down. Like he's not scared to tell me, like, "Yo, bro, you ain't pushing back from the table enough. Check this out. This is what we need." Because he says, "I see this, I see that. You doing good here, but." And he did one thing that made me mad, but he laughed. He said, "But this, squeakle, you still ain't got rid of that." And I'm gonna tell you what it is. And then I tried to get defensive, but he read it to me. He says, "Because you're not doing this, and this." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Because they care, right? You want someone that cares,
yeah, he
right?
He gets it.
Because, yeah, it's a relationship. And it's the same thing whenever I work with my clients, whenever they come with a bunch of excuses. I'll say, I'm just hearing excuses. And they're like, okay, thank you, Russ. Like, thanks for calling me out.
Sometimes
because I care. Because I feel like I'm fully invested in making sure that you live out your full life that you were put here to live. And if I'm part of that formula, I'm not going to let you get in your own way. I'm going to call you out because we all are here for a purpose, right? But you can't do any of this without your health.
That's it. Well, that's a perfect way to wrap this up. So let us know where can they now, even if can they find you online? Social media,
they can definitely find me
where
online.
Where can we find you? I'm going to put it in. It's going to be in the show description in the notes, but you go ahead and let them know.
Well, I am found, if you're on Instagram, I am the Fat Loss Diabetes Dietitian. So put that in there, you'll find me. If you are looking for a consultation or just want to have like a conversation about where to start, you can find me at russpowellnutrition.com. And on there, it's a quick little forum for us to have a little 15-minute powwow. That's where you can find me.
Well, there it is. So don't wait until it's too late. No. You need to go start taking care of yourself. Get screened for everything, especially my season 2 peoples. Quit being scared of the doctor. Just let them go ahead and do what they do. You're not no less of a man or a woman. If they got to put on a rubber glove, it's been done. Do what you do. All right. So until next episode, y'all, this is Rewind and Press Forward. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace out.